I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone in affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems.
What's going on, people? It's the Xbot 448 coming to you early on Monday morning. Well, kind of early. I mean, where I am, it is before 12 o'clock. Coming a little bit early because, guys, I don't know if you realize this, but first off, I'm on a couple other podcasts, right? I'm on Xbox Nation. I'm on Crossfire. I'm on CCC, but that's on a summer vacation right now. Uh, I'm on quite a few shows, and I've been having to deal with kind of like some of the same things on these shows, and trying to put some common sense out there in the gaming community. And I feel like it's about time to tackle this on my channel, basically with me on the mic, trying to clarify my thoughts on this. Huge shout out to everybody coming in and checking out this show live. Like I said, it's a little bit early. It is good to see you guys in the chat. I think we're going to have fun today. It is a topic that has been kind of going back and forth. I put out a tweet on Twitter talking about three game franchises that people seem to want to either discredit or push to the side, or kind of discount as not part of the gaming industry for whatever rhyme or reason, whether it's to fulfill kind of like their own gaming narrative and what's going on with Xbox. But three franchises that I feel is absolutely imperative to keep talking about when it comes to the gaming industry. These three franchises are Halo, Gears, and Forza. Now, these games are billion-dollar franchises, all right? And yes, they are Xbox first-party games. They are exclusive to the Xbox platform, so that would be, the console, going forward PC and xCloud moving forward. But yes, they are under Microsoft's umbrella. They are under Xbox's umbrella. They are first-party games. What is going on, Great Skull Zero? Jesse Darby, what is up? Oh, Snaps is in the chat right now early. I know she is tired. I hope you're feeling better, oh, Snaps. Of course, Sleepy Goblin, the first one here. And with the name Sleepy, I was like, man, you are up early. What is going on? But good to see you guys. We are getting into it in terms of Halo, Gears, and Forza. And unless you have been living under a rock in the gaming community, you do realize that, people have been talking about Xbox's offerings when it comes to games. And when they talk about it, it's like, they haven't announced any new AAA IP since, I think it was like 2016 or something like that. What's going on with their offerings in terms of the first party? And then I'm like, well, Halo 5 had the best multiplayer. And they're like, no. Hold on a minute. We are not talking about Halo, Gears, and Forza. And I start scratching my head like, what? What is up, Jay Slayer? Good to see you in the chat, brother. But yeah, if I bring up anything about Halo, if I bring up that Gears is right around the corner, it seems like those franchises get pushed to the side. And then they're talking about, well, new IP. We haven't seen any new IP. And I'm like, well, hold on. Sea of Thieves is a brand new IP. And some people will say, well, the game's garbage. One thing I can say about Sea of Thieves, right? Sea of Thieves, when it came out, it was really strict on content. And if you're coming out with an open world game where you're, sailing the seas, getting into trouble, being a pirate, you want a lot of content there. So, in terms of a criticism like that with Sea of Thieves, I can say, I can see that, all right? But when it comes down to it, people try to say that Halo, Gears, and Forza, we just push those to the side. Either it's the same old thing, right? Or that's not what I'm talking about. And what it comes down to at the end of the day is I think that people don't necessarily want new, fresh games, but they want what Sony has been doing with the PlayStation 4 and their first party. And now with the PlayStation 4 and their first party, they have relied heavily on, first off, third person camera over the shoulder view, right? Really awesome graphics. And that's something, you go God of War, you go Uncharted, Last of Us remastered, all those games, really really nice graphics, man. I will not just completely downplay games because they're not on the platform I prefer. Really nice graphics, right? Heavy emotional story. And I feel like people are pushing aside $3 billion franchises just to talk about those third person camera over the shoulder heavy story narratives. um Yeah, but Cali Rex. All right, and Cali Rex in the chat says, I have to disagree. The people I've seen want new, fresh IPs. All right, if they want new, fresh IPs, check this out. Bleeding Edge is a new, fresh IP, right? Coming from Ninja Theory, which are they're kind of spreading their wings again. They did kind of like they did that melee combat type game back in the day with Kung Fu Chaos, and they're coming and they're bringing something like that, but now online multiplayer with Bleeding Edge. And what was the first thing that people said when they saw that kind of like leaked trailer for Bleeding Edge? That's not what I want. All right. And they're like, well, what about Hellblade? And Hellblade right there is a third person camera, heavy emotional story narrative type game. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes down to it, Sea of Thieves, a completely fresh open world pirate game that, yeah, granted, when it first came out, it was lacking on actual content. But if you go in and play it now, it is leaps and bounds better than what it was in the beginning. Xbox, but it's not AAA yet. Overwatch. Jay Slayer, I think you're being sarcastic with that. I really think you're being sarcastic with that. When it comes down to it, if you look at the Halo franchise, how can you dismiss something that is held up there as recognizable as like Mario and Zelda? And it came out, it has only had about half the time, if not less than half the time, as Mario and Zelda had to fully develop as franchises. Yo, Yobi, what is going on, my brother? Good to see you. Good morning. And yes, Battletoads! Dude, I am excited for Battletoads. I know a lot of people kind of make fun of me on that. But again, the Battletoads game that's coming out, it might not be quote unquote AAA, but what they did with keeping the same kind of fighting mechanics as the original Battletoads, bringing up the graphics to today's standards, but making it like a Saturday morning cartoon type art style, I'm down for that. I want to play that. I want to get into it. But of course, that is something that other people out there, other gamers in the community are downplaying as well. And again, they are downplaying this because it is not the Sony blueprint. Uh, just look at Forza. Look at what Forza has done. You look at Forza Motorsport. You have your classic closed circuit racer, right? And when they wanted to come out with a different game, a different type of racing game, what did they do? They adopted that open world, but in racing game. Now I know games, and this started on the 360 era, by the way. Forza Horizon, the first one came out on the 360, and there was like maybe one or two other games that were kind of trying to go open world. You look at Test Drive Unlimited, that was out during the 360 era. but nobody did it quite like Forza Horizon. It was a huge step in a different direction when it came to I had my phone ringing. Um, it was a huge step in a different direction for Turn 10 coming in with playground games as well. I am also trying to read the chat as I'm talking. Calyrex, there seems to be a difference in opinions with the new Battletoads. I have a friend that likes the style and someone else who hates it. And what's the older style? I mean, the older style, it was pretty limited back then. You could go back and check it out. If you have Rare Replay, you can play the original Battletoads. It wasn't like a Saturday morning cartoon art style, but it was kind of like your typical art style for that era. Um, when Battletoads first came out, one of the big things that attracted people to it was the attitude of the characters and the basically the I don't give a fuck type attitude from the Battletoads themselves. That was really kind of like the hook that got people into that game. And then the difficulty is what kept people playing that game just to beat it. But let's see. Phase 23 Brooklyn, Infamous Second Son, which I actually liked. Spider-Man, which is overrated. Medieval, is Medieval out yet? Concrete MLB The Show. Eh. But see, Phase 23. Here's the deal. Out of all those games that you put in the chat, what do people talk about over and over and over again? Only Spider-Man. That's the only game they talk about out of that entire list of games that you're talking about. It's only Spider-Man. And what I'm saying here is I'm talking about people when it comes to Xbox, right? Saying that, when it comes to Halo, Gears, and Forza, you have to take those out of the equation. It's not what we're talking about. And I'm trying to let people know exactly what they're talking about is that Sony blueprint. Is that Uncharted? Is that God of War? It is that The Last of Us type game. I know Sony has, different smaller games like Dreams. Dreams is basically kind of like it's a smaller game as well. So is Ori as well, and that is a highly rated game. But when it comes down to it, how can we take out Halo, Gears, and Forza, say that Xbox hasn't done anything this generation, which is absolutely untrue. Unfortunately, when it came down to it, and through their second party deals, came out with fresh games that had had a sense of humor, had kind of like a heavy sci-fi story, stuff like that. When those games came out, they weren't necessarily supported. And they weren't supported over kind of like a media narrative, all right? A narrative that was going through the gaming community about resolution. And if you didn't have those extra 180p's of resolution, then the game was garbage. I lived through that. I think all you guys lived through that kind of like era of console gaming where people were talking about, man, that's 900p, that's trash. When in all actuality, it's not. Uh, let's see what's going on here. Uncompetitive. I'd like to see Halo 3 Anniversary made by Certain Affinity as 343 are incompetent. Dude, I would not say they are incompetent. That's another thing. Within the Halo community itself is fractured as well. You have people who strictly want that old school style Halo, and then you have people like me who appreciate the older Halos, right? But I absolutely love the gameplay of Halo 5 and absolutely love the multiplayer for Halo 5. To me, to this day, Halo 5's multiplayer is the multiplayer of this generation. For me, number one. Absolutely number one. But when it comes down to it, you can't take three of the most iconic franchises in the gaming industry and just push them to the side and say, well, yeah, they make those, but all right. They have made smaller titles as well with Ori. There were games that were, pretty much misses for a lot of people in the community. I know the game Recore, right? When that came out, a lot of people complained about it. And rightfully so. I was one of the people that when it came to the shadows in that game, you could check back on this channel. I pointed out the shadows, and they're kind of like the steps. It was so rigid that there were literally steps, which should have been straight lines in the shadows, and I made fun of it. But when it came down to it, like the dungeon aspect in that game, the platforming inside the dungeons and stuff like that was absolutely phenomenal. I'm just reading here. Uncompetitive said, make Halo Infinite with Halo 3 mechanics, the weapon set of all games, concussion rifle, etc. Then allow any Spartan to be used in custom games or see. I like and me and you uncompetitive. We're gonna disagree here. We're definitely gonna disagree. I like the Spartan abilities. I like the ability to run when it came to Halo 5. It's something I liked. Yo, Face23 Brooklyn, have they even confirmed that they are making a Spider-Man 2 right now? Because I've been hearing rumors of a Sunset Overdrive 2. Now, granted, Insomniac can make both games. They can split teams up and make both games. But have they confirmed a Spider-Man 2 yet? I know a lot of people are like, well, Spider-Man was such a success that it's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a no-brainer down the line. But that's not to say that they are going to just jump right back in and make that same game. I don't think Insomniac's like that. They don't just, as soon as Ratchet and Clank came out, like back in the day, they didn't automatically just start making another one, even though Ratchet and Clank was successful. So, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that said that they have confirmed that they are working on Spider-Man 2. If you find that, share that in a DM with me on Twitter so I can check that out. Share the link or whatnot. But no, well, Sony can't hire anybody to work at Insomniac for that game. Sony doesn't have that right to place people in a development team. That's all on Insomniac. Calyrex, I think we need to double check on all that information. But guys, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, the narrative has been to take Halo, Gears, and Forza and push it to the side. Don't count those at all. Guys, we can't let that happen. These are iconic games. You look at Gears that came out on the 360, and that was the game, that new game that came out in that generation that just completely caught fire with the Xbox 360. People jumped in. It was insane. It is an established franchise now. That would be like people saying, when it comes to PS4, PS5, you can't really talk about Uncharted. Oh, God of War? No. Take God of War and put that to the side. They've made too many of those. I don't see anybody saying that whatsoever. Jay Slayer says, Xbox, I agree. Insomniac usually doesn't make the same game in a row. They switch it up. See, Jay, that's right. And you know what's funny? People will get mad at me for saying that, but it is an absolutely true statement. Antonio Alicea says, I'm buying a PS5 because Microsoft has too much green in their light. Antonio, really? Really? And see, that's another thing. People are claiming that they want these games now. They're complaining every single day about this, even though a new Gears is right around the corner. Looks like it's going to be a crazy emotional game. Gears is a third-person, camera over the shoulder, cover shooter type game. It looks like it's going to be great, right? Of course, we haven't seen a lot of necessary gameplay, and the game comes out in September, and that is a huge kind of like drop the ball moment when it comes to Coalition and when it comes to Xbox. Like I said, I'm going to call it like I see it. And not everything is like peaches and cream over on Xbox's side. I will criticize when I need to criticize. And they should be, especially at E3, they should have had that game on the big screen showing everybody what the hell is going on. You know, keeping certain things, you know, for when people get the game. You know, there's editors out there that know how to do that. Know how to show the game without showing any type of like uh com- completely like crazy twists that go on in the game and stuff like that. They could have done that, all right? There is no excuse for that. Huge drop the ball moment, definitely in my opinion. But the game's coming out soon. That's a game that caters to a lot of people, and when I bring that game up, you know what they say? We're not talking about Gears. It's not about Gears. Even though Ninja Theory is working on a single player game right now as well. They have two teams. One of them is finishing up Bleeding Edge, and the other one is working on a single player game. Obsidian is said to be working on an RPG. So you have these development studios that were recently acquired, of course, finishing up on the games that they were already making, you know, whether they're multi-plat or whatnot, having them come out as multi-plat, but again, since they're first party, they're going to go into Game Pass day and date. You won't have to buy those games to play them. Like Outer Worlds, games like that, you won't have to buy those games to play them. You could try them on Game Pass. And then moving on, they will be making games for the Xbox platform. They are actually developing them right now. Face 23, if you're following me on Twitter, I will find the link and send it to you, alright, brother? But yeah, they are working on another single player. I believe it was through interviews that they said that they are working on a single player game as well. They wanted, Bleeding Edge was a game that they have wanted to put out for a long time. And I like it because it's like the spiritual successor to Kung Fu Chaos. And I don't know if you guys have played that game. That game was so much fun. Add in the online multiplayer. Oh man, I cannot wait to play Bleeding Edge. I wish I had gotten picked for the alpha, but I didn't, unfortunately. I really want to play that game. I do. And like I said, it's something new. It's something different. It's 4-on-4, right? But it's melee combat. And Ninja Theory is known, absolutely known for melee combat. Let's see here. Jay Slayer says, Xbot, why does everyone need a new IP? I want a new Fable, Perfect Dark, and Killer Instinct. True crap gamer fashion. I had to get a drink of water. You know, Jay, bringing back those types of games, you know, the Perfect Dark, the Fable. I mean, Fable is like the game industry's like worst kept secret right now. That Playground Games is working on Fable. Those games are all well and good, but yeah, people want new franchises to kind of get attached to. Kind of like what happened with Gears of War during the 360 era. Kind of what happened with The Last of Us as well. Even though I personally didn't like that game, it probably ramped up more going to the middle of the game to the end, but the beginning of that game it didn't hook me. I tried playing it when I had a PS4, and it just didn't really hook me. Uncompetitive says he wants a Perfect Dark in the first person. See I mean, I'm all for that. I want to see what these development studios can do. But guys, complaining every single day about not having these new IPs every single day, knowing that Xbox and Microsoft bought these new studios and they're working on new games, isn't going to do anything. Guys, I don't want every single new IP coming from Xbox to be, you know, a third-person point of view type game with a heavy story narrative. I like diversity, and that brings me back to Forza, because when it comes down to it, you can talk about, say, oh, they always make Forza and stuff like that, but having that open world racing game, it expanded that game to a new type of gamer, whether it's a more casual gamer or whatnot. Anytime you can bring a twist into the game and do it like an open world racing and this whole festival themed and really kind of honing in on the music and stuff like that, it brings in a different type of gamer to your game. So, you look at it, we got the closed circuit racer, we have an open world racer, we have a third person view cover shooter, we have a first person view um, shooter as well. I think we have diversity there. You put that together with the open world Sea of Thieves. You have Ori 2 coming out. You have Bleeding Edge coming out, which I hope is a success. I hope it does well. I hope they put the time and effort into it, and I think they will, because Ninja Theory is known for their melee combat, and that's one of the reasons why I am so excited about that. But guys, when it comes to $3 billion game franchises, don't let other people tell you that you can't talk about them. They are automatically credible in the industry. The name Master Chief is as recognizable as Mario, as Link, as Zelda. Why would you push that game to the side? It makes no sense. Yo, Z Black Rider says, I am in full block mode with the complainers. Guys, if you like what you have been playing on Xbox, don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to want what they want, because that's the way to be. Because at the end of the day, what I feel they want is PlayStation exclusives. And if they want those, there is a platform for them. Just go right on over and play those games on PlayStation. And I cannot wait to see the future with Project Scarlet, all these new development studios. We're seeing games like, like I said, Bleeding Edge. We're getting a new Battletoads. There are games that in the pipeline. I think Gears is going to be great. Look at Halo Infinite. What they're talking about with a more kind of like branching campaign. Like you can kind of choose your direction and make it to the end of the game kind of the way you want to. To me, that's exciting. And to me, there is no way I'm gonna stop talking about these franchises just because it doesn't fit in somebody else's narrative. So, guys, like I said, at the end of the day, if you are happy with what you are playing on Xbox, let people know. Don't let people tell you what you should and shouldn't like. At the end of the day, we need diversity. We need different games. We need different platforms, man. Competition is what drives this industry to do better. All right, and we need that. So we need companies like when it comes to Sony, Microsoft, even Google jumping in on this. The more competition, the better, because all it does is it pushes the industry forward. It gets developers to think outside the box and come out with new, fresh games. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. But guys, that's pretty much it for now. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time. We have hit noontime. I gotta cough. We have hit noontime here. I picked up because of backwards compatibility. Me and O Snaps went shopping yesterday, and I picked up Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow on physical disc for $4 yesterday. I was playing it for a couple hours last night. I forgot how good the early Splinter Cell games are. Absolutely incredible. I am going to be beating that game again on my Xbox, even though there are no achievements. But thank you guys for hanging out with me as usual. If you like the topic, you like the gameplay that you saw in the background, definitely hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. It is Monday. I want everybody to stay positive. Get excited for the games you have at home. Get excited for the games that are coming out. It's going to be a great year. Going from 2019 into 2020, This is a fun time to be a gamer. We have new hardware coming out. With new hardware, you have what they call the launch lineup, which I can't wait to see exactly what's going on. Both on the PlayStation side and the Xbox side, it is a great time to be a gamer. But as for now, this is the Xbot 448, and I am definitely signing off.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it, cause I got problems on problems.